Today we're going to be naming the top 5 players at each position from point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. So this should be interesting. Don't get your feelings hurt if your favorite player is left off. It's just my opinion. Don't take it to the heart. You may have a different thought, and if you do, put it down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button as well. I'd greatly appreciate it, and like button if you do enjoy this video. We're going to start with the point guards, and we're going to go from 5 to 1 on all the positions. And at 5 at point guard, we're going to be having Kyrie Irving. I know this might be controversial for some people, seeing Kyrie Irving barely played last season, but Kyrie Irving's skill level, scoring-wise, playmaking-wise, he is definitely a top 5 point guard in my opinion. When he is healthy, when he is playing, he is definitely an elite talent, as we all know. Arguably the most skilled point guard and player in general in the past decade or so. So Kyrie Irving is at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we're going to have Trae Young. Trae Young, I believe, is a top 3 offense on his own. The way he can manipulate defenses, throw lobs to basically anyone that can get that high to dunk the ball. He can shoot anywhere from the logo to 3-point line to mid-range. His floater game is unstoppable. Trae Young, in my opinion, and I bet a lot of other people can agree with me, is a very, very elite talent. Number 4 on my list, and I believe will get higher through the years. Coming in at number 3, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is probably one of the best playoff performers on this whole list. I'm not saying he is the best, but he's definitely up there. Lillard is, of course, known for his clutch shots, his playmaking, not always his defense, but like most guards on here, they're not known for defense really. But Damian Lillard, I have at number 3. I believe Trae Young has way too much defensive liability for him to be above Damian Lillard. Kyrie Irving isn't as reliable as Damian Lillard, even though Lillard just missed this whole last season basically. But through the years, Lillard has fought through a lot with his abdomen injury, I think is what it was. And now this last year he finally got healthy, and he's going to be healthy for this coming up year, and that's going to be really exciting. I see people saying Lillard is a possible MVP candidate for next year, so who knows. But Damian Lillard, don't forget, he is a baller. Coming in at number 2, I have Luka Doncic. Luka is just so fun to watch. He can control offenses with ease. He can step back 3 in your face. He can fake the step back and drive in, floater over your center. He can find literally anybody on the court, whether he's across the court, he's in the corner wide open. He will find your open players, and it really is just on the player to knock down the shot. Luka is also an incredible playoff performer, one of the best I've ever seen. And he's only like 23 years old. This is like coming up on his 4th season in the NBA. And speaking of playoffs, this last year, he made it to the Western Conference Finals with him and Brunson being his second best player. Not saying Brunson is a bad player, but he's definitely no all-star, superstar, second option you want in a championship team. And Luka took this team to the Western Conference Finals, and this team was pretty good. I'm not going to say it's some like LeBron 2018 carry, but it is not an amazing team, and he brought them to the Western Conference Finals. Look out for Luka and the Mavs this coming up year when they picked up Christian Wood and JaVale McGee. They can be nice, and that's why I got Luka at number 2. Coming in at number 1, this should be no surprise to anyone that knows basketball, Stephen Curry. This past season, Curry honestly had a stretch of games where he wasn't that good. People were kind of questioning, is he kind of, what's going on? But Curry showed us why he's the number 1 point guard in the league this past finals. What was it, game 5 or game 6, where he just went insane? And that's why I got Curry at number 1. Now, I'm not also disrespecting Ja Morant. I think he's an amazing player. He is a future face of the league. He brought the Grizzlies to, the 3rd seed this past season. Made it to the 2nd round and was eliminated by the future NBA champions. So, Ja Morant is no slouch. He is definitely an amazing player, future All-NBA player. Don't sleep. I just thought these other point guards were a little bit better. Going to shooting guards, I got Zach LaVine at number 5. Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls, didn't really do that amazing in the playoffs, but through the regular season, he's definitely an all-star caliber player alongside DeMar DeRozan. And yeah, Zach LaVine, he's nice. He can shoot. He can dunk. Obviously, dunk contest champion. His defense, you know, isn't what he's known for, definitely. And his playmaking is definitely not what he's known for either. But Zach LaVine, number 5 at the shooting guard. At number 4, I got Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards. I think Bradley Beal was severely overpaid. Now, I'm not saying Bradley Beal is a bad player or anything. He definitely worked hard for this money. He averaged 30 points per game his last healthy year. I just don't think he is a, you know, top 1 or 2 shooting guard in the league that should be getting that type of money, or a top 5 player in the league in general that should be getting that type of money. But Bradley Beal, this is not about contracts. This is about his skill. And Bradley Beal is a certified bucket getter. He will get you 25 a night. He'll get you, you know, he can play make a little bit. He'll get you like 4 or 5 assists. He's definitely an all-star type player when he's healthy. Unfortunately, he wasn't last year. But when Bradley Beal's healthy, he can definitely be an amazing player and an amazing second option to an NBA championship team, in my opinion. As I'm editing, I noticed a huge mess up and a huge mistake I made in my original list. So have to edit this in Orlando, have to improvise. But at number 3, we have Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has played incredible in the playoffs, incredible in the finals. He outplayed his teammate in Jason Tatum in the finals. He's played solid defense. His only real negative is his turnovers, and he can be a little like out of control sometimes when he drives the ball or shoots the mid-range or whatever. Other than that, I believe Jaylen Brown can be a very nice number 1 on the team, and people are, you know, speculating Brooklyn Nets for Kevin Durant. I don't know if that's still a possibility, but Jaylen Brown being the number 1 option can get you, you know, a good amount of wins in the regular season. Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, is a second option type of player though. He can be a first option. I don't think that's taking you to NBA Finals, but him as a second option, I believe, is probably one of the perfect second options you can get in the league. And if the Celtics do decide to keep him, I think him and Jason Tatum will work just fine and maybe go back to the NBA Finals this coming up season. At number 2, I have Donovan Mitchell, who is in a lot of rumors to be traded this offseason to teams like the Miami Heat, New York Knicks. A lot of trade rumors around Donovan Mitchell. We'll see what happens. If a trade for Donovan Mitchell has already happened when you're seeing this video, it's because this video has been recorded about a week before you're seeing it right now, because I'm in Florida as you're seeing this, if you're seeing it as soon as I upload it. But Donovan Mitchell is definitely a certified bucket. He can play make for sure. He can play defense when he tries. But he's definitely known for his scoring from anywhere on the court, really. He can shoot from deep. He can shoot from the three-point line. He can shoot mid-range. He can definitely dunk on your best player. Donovan Mitchell is like that. And I believe Donovan Mitchell, if put around the right pieces, can maybe bring your team to an NBA championship. To cap off the shooting guards, we got Devin Booker at number 1. Devin Booker has been kind of in the, you know, mix between Donovan Mitchell or him, who's better. But I believe Devin Booker is better, and I believe not last year's playoffs, but the playoffs before really proved that when the Suns went to the NBA Finals, eventually losing to the Milwaukee Bucks. But Devin Booker definitely did not play horrible throughout the playoffs. It was the NBA Finals really where he kind of started to slow down. Going on to why he's the number 1 shooting guard in the NBA, he can score from anywhere, he can play make, his defense has definitely gotten better through the years. I believe Devin Booker, as we saw in the 2021 playoffs, he can lead you to NBA Finals at least. And that's why I got Devin Booker at number 1. Coming in at number 5 for our small forwards now, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is an all-defensive type of player. As we've seen through the years, he can lock up your best player. And at the same time, he can score buckets too. Butler really does everything on the court offensively and defensively, just not anything at an elite level besides his defense. Butler arguably has elite playmaking. His playmaking is a very underrated attribute of his. His scoring can be definitely inconsistent at times. He can be streaky from the three-point line. His mid-range can even be streaky at times. But he'll always find a way to get some buckets, and in the clutch, Jimmy Butler's the guy to go to for sure. At number 4, I got PG-13 or Paul George. And you might be saying Paul George played shooting guard for majority of his time alongside Kawhi Leonard. But I'm just listing Paul George and Kawhi Leonard as both small forwards. Even though they're on the same team, it wouldn't really make sense. To me, they're both small forwards. Paul George, just like Jimmy Butler, is an all-defensive type of player. But on the other hand, unlike Jimmy Butler, Paul George can really score from anywhere on the court. Paul George's playmaking is probably his weakest part of his offensive game. That's definitely not a horrible attribute of his. I just think Paul George has very good defense, just like Jimmy Butler. but has a far more better scoring in Jimmy Butler. Number 3, I got Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Tatum, as he showed us this last playoffs, which was an incredibly difficult road to the finals, even though he eventually lost to the Warriors, showed us that he is as good as it gets at the small forward position in the Eastern Conference. It was playing great defense and great offense throughout the whole playoffs, except for the finals where he was kind of silent in fourth quarters. But Jason Tatum had arguably one of the hardest playoff runs you'll ever see in the next couple years, going through the Brooklyn Nets that had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, Milwaukee Bucks that had Giannis and Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton was injured that series, and the Miami Heat that had Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. But don't let the loss in the NBA Finals discredit Jason Tatum and how good of a player he really is. And number 2, I got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George's teammate, who was number 4. And Kawhi Leonard unfortunately was hurt in the 2021 playoffs and was out for this whole last year. Well, a lot of people are really sleeping on Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers as a whole team, really. Don't be surprised if the NBA championship trophy is in Kawhi Leonard's hands this coming up season. Kawhi Leonard is one of the, if not best perimeter defender in the league, one of, if not the best playoff performer in the whole league, and he can basically do anything offensively, anything defensively. He can guard 1 through 4. He can score in plenty of different ways. He can be in the post, he can drive by you, he can hit you with a step back 3. If Kawhi Leonard is feeling it offensively, there's no stopping him. And that's why I got the Claw at number 2. But number 1, we're heading to the other team in LA, LeBron James. LeBron is arguably the greatest player of all time alongside Michael Jordan, and that's definitely for a good reason. LeBron, when he wants to, can be a very solid defender even at the age of 37, and LeBron arguably has the best vision and playmaking in the entire league, has stretched out his game so much that he can shoot from the logo now, and at the same time, he can dunk on all your favorite players, shoot mid-ranges, shoot post-up, fadeaways. He can shoot fadeaways from the 3-point line. He can shoot step back 3s where he looks at the ball and then does a step back on you. He has the chase down blocks, the step back 3s, the posters. What more can you ask from a 37-year-old? And that's why he's number 1. Moving on to our power forwards, at number 5, I got Pascal Siakam. Siakam has really gone under the radar ever since Kawhi Leonard left the Toronto Raptors. People kind of expected him to rise up and easily be the number 1 option on the Raptors, which unfortunately did not happen his first couple seasons after Leonard left. But this past season, he's definitely picked it up. He's definitely gotten under the radar because people are hardly talking about him, really. And Siakam can definitely get you a bucket with his signature spin move. His defense is definitely very solid, above average for sure. And his playmaking is pretty underrated as well. And number 4, I got Zion Williamson. Zion has unfortunately been injury riddled throughout his career and also dealing with weight problems. But even through all that, Zion is still an incredible all-NBA type of player, making the All-Star team in his sophomore year, I believe. Zion, when healthy, is definitely a top 5 power forward in the league. An amazing lob target, amazing post offense, and can definitely get you a couple block shots in the NBA. And number 3, I got Anthony Davis. Now, just like Zion, Davis has been injury riddled for his whole career as well, especially this last couple seasons. Don't let these injuries let you forget how great of an NBA player Anthony Davis is. Anthony Davis defensively can get you block shot after block shot after block shot. He can lock up 3 through 5 probably. He can play post defense well. He can play just anything well. Davis is probably a top 5 defensive player in the league when healthy. Offensively, Davis can really get you a bucket from anywhere. Last season, he was pretty inconsistent. From mid-range, a little bit of 3, and definitely in the paint, Davis can get you a bucket for sure. At 2, I got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, we all know what's going on with him in Brooklyn. I don't really want to talk about it still. But Kevin Durant, just as a player, he is definitely a top 5 offensive player in the league, maybe top 3, and that's definitely for a reason. Durant is an unstoppable scorer at almost 7 feet tall. He can shoot from anywhere. He can shoot over you. He can shoot mid-range, his 3-point shot, deep 3-point shots. He can dunk on you. He can post fade. He can do every single thing offensively. And he's fast, he's mobile, he can hit you with the crossover. Kevin Durant is an unstoppable force when he has the ball in his hands. Defensively, Kevin Durant has definitely proven over the years and in the playoffs, he is no slouch on that side of the ball. He can block shots, he has a long wingspan, it can definitely keep you in front of him. Kevin Durant can definitely be that guy defensively. But at number 1, I have the Greek Freak. Giannis is arguably the best player in the league. I believe he is the best player in the league. Giannis can guard 1 through 5 if he wanted to. He can block shot after shot after shot. He can get steals. He can keep you in front of him. He's mobile. He's fast. He can dunk on you. He has a mid-range shot now. He's working on that three-point shot. If you leave him open, most of the time it actually is money. Giannis is that guy. He can back you down. He can out-muscle you with his strength. Giannis is without a doubt the #1 power forward in the league. With our centers at number 5, it was kind of tricky, but I have Karl Anthony Towns. Cat basically brings everything to the table offensively. He can shoot threes from anywhere on the court. He can shoot mid-ranges, post fades a little bit. He can finish at the rim. What's holding him back really is his defense, but now that he's alongside Rudy Gobert, his defense probably won't look as bad as it has before. But who knows? He might even move up a little bit next season. Number 4, I have Cat's new teammate in Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, one of the greatest defenders of our generation, now on the Minnesota Timberwolves, is definitely a player to take seriously. Rudy Gobert is a top 5 defense alone. Gobert will block any shot you throw at him. He can guard basically just the 4 and the 5. He's not mobile like Giannis or something. But Rudy Gobert, for what he's supposed to do, he does it at the best level you can ask. Gobert's offense is obviously his weakest part of his game. He's really just a lob threat. He'll sometimes have those moments where he can have a nice dunk or something on the break, but mainly his post offense is not very good. His dribbling is not very good. He can't shoot from anywhere on the court, but his defense is that impactful and that incredible that he is the number 4 center in the league. At 3, I got Bam Adebayo. Bam is a pretty small big man. I believe he's like 6'9", 6'10"-ish. But he is super athletic. He can guard basically 3 through 5 pretty efficiently. And he's a very mobile type of player, so he can keep up with faster forwards, faster guards maybe. He can block shots. He can get steals. He's very mobile, like I said. And defensively, he's an arguably defensive player of the year type of player. And offensively, he is not that bad either. When Bam has his offensive game going, he is incredibly hard to stop. Bam can shoot the mid-range for sure. He can shoot a post fade. He can finish. He's a very good lob target as well. Bam does what Cat does on a little lower level and what Gobert does at a little lower level combined in one. And that's why I got him at number 3. At 2, I have Joel Embiid. Embiid was in a very tight race for MVP this last season with Jokic, but obviously Jokic got the award, becoming a back-to-back MVP. But Embiid can definitely win MVP another season, next season, the season after. Embiid is incredible. Defensively, he can block shots. He's a big, strong type of player, so when someone's trying to back him down, he's not just going to let them blow by him or out-muscle him or anything. He's going to hold his ground. He's not just going to let anything easy happen. Now, offensively, he's a strong suit for sure. Embiid can shoot from basically anywhere on the court. He can shoot kind of deep threes. He can shoot threes for sure, though. He can shoot mid-ranges, post fades. He can dunk on you. He can finish at the rim with ease. Embiid's playmaking is pretty decent. It's definitely gotten better over the years. The only thing that's holding Embiid back for me is his decision making at times when double teams are sent at him. His playmaking also isn't as good as who we all know is number 1. That's why I got Joel Embiid at number 2. At number 1, as you probably expected after seeing Embiid at 2, Nikola Jokic. The back-to-back MVP is easily the best center in the league for me. His offensive game is like no other we've seen at the 5 position. He can play make at an elite level. His passing is incredible. He can shoot from anywhere. He can finish at the rim with ease. His pacing is incredible. He can slow the game down whenever he wants. He can speed it up whenever he wants. He can dribble down the court like a point guard at times. And because his offense is so amazing, his defense at times even gets overlooked, which I believe is kind of a shame. Nikola Jokic is actually one of the better defensive centers in the league. He's not going to get a lot of block shots. He's not going to get a lot of steals or the statistic defensive numbers. But when you just watch him play, he definitely impacts the paint and definitely leaves an impact on that side of the floor. Nikola Jokic, the back-to-back MVP, is easily my number 1 center in the league. And that wraps up my top 5 players at each position. If you liked the video, like button down below, subscribe button is also right there. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified as soon as I upload. And if you agree or disagree, put it down in the comments. Be respectful. Let's have a conversation. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.